This is jiaozi, the world's first paper-printed currency in history, which was a form of promissory note that was issued in 1160 under Song dynasty government. And this is zhuangpiao, a kind of banknote issued by the Xunxing private bank during the early Republic of China in early years of 20th century. The fiat currency's name and shape in China may change from time to time, but I believe that one thing will remain unchanged no matter what happens. That is, Chinese mindset of saving money from generation to generation. As of the second quarter of 2024, the average personal savings rate in the U.S. is a paltry 3.6%, according to the Federal Reserve. YouTuber Humphrey Yang gave a shocking savings disparity in China, whose average savings rate is 45.9%. So why are Chinese so serious about saving money? Let's take a look back at the history. China always has a big population, and this country has been divided into smaller countries or states for most of the time. Warfares, famines, political instability led to economic uncertainty. Putting trust on a government that may collapse in a few months or years is too risky. In short, you have to think of a way to support yourself and your family by your own. Like any of us, ancient Chinese has two options to overcome these problems: earn more money or save more money. If you are lucky enough to live in a peaceful place away from warfares, thus having a family business and get some relationships with local rulers, the chance of earning more money is really high. However, that is the story of minority. The majority choose the way that is easier for them, saving more money. This thing is still true for modern age. Lacking trust of social insurance system creates people-saving instinct. They fear that any unfortunate accident, like getting seriously ill, car accident, or addicted to gambling or drug, will easily ruin their families. Only saving money would help them survive in those tough times. Second thing, Chinese people's saving mindset was also shaped by Confucian teachings. That emphasis on long-term thinking and planning for the future, not only for themselves, but for future generations as well. The virtue of moderation and avoiding excess spending are highly regarded across Chinese society. Meanwhile, getting debt will reduce your social standing, and you will get less respect if you owe money to someone. Last thing is, there are always good reasons to save money: to buy a house, pay studying fee for your children, as well as their marriage expenses, to take care of your old parents, handle your own pension, your medical fee, money for relocation to better place, and so on. One less known reason for saving is for risk aversion. Some Chinese believes in high-risk investments would give them a fortune, so they need money for financial security. To get a deeper understanding of today's topic, I will give you guys some Chinese proverbs or sayings about money and frugality. Small savings add up, or even when dust piles up, it becomes a mountain. Count every cent and make every cent count. Increase revenue and reduce expenditure. Careful planning and meticulous calculation. Money is not everything, but without it, you can do nothing. Store grain against famine. As long as you have food, you don't need to feel worried. Happy is the man without sickness. Rich is the man with no debts. When rich, think of poverty, but don't think of riches when you are poor. So now you know why Chinese save money so hard, as well as Chinese saving mindset. I will give you 9 tips you can apply to save some money for rainy days, the Chinese way. Tip number 1. Know what you really need to spend money on. Know yourself, know your enemy. 100 battles, 100 victories. Sun Tzu's famous quote also applies for saving money battle. Any proper plan must start from knowing thyself. With a pen and a paper or Google Sheets, make a list of all the things you've spent your money on. As detailed as possible, even a meal or a cup of coffee would be listed. Record the date, item purchase, place of purchase, money spent, and reason of purchase. Note the reason of purchase can be categorized into 3 sections: emergency, necessity, or luxury. it will look like this. For emergencies, well, the money is well spent and unavoidable. Keep in mind that this may happen again, so you want to save for this kind of situation. For necessities, ask yourself if you could find cheaper options. Buy in bulk. There's always cheaper options. It's just you need to decide how much time and energy you want to spend on this. For luxuries, look deep into yourself and ask if this is really necessary and whether the utility it brings really live up to your money spent. These are the things you will eventually find that you may live even better if you cut them off. But this is personal stuff, so I will leave it right here. Tip number 2, minimizing waste. In frugal Chinese mindset, there is no waste. There are just items that you don't use now, but you will definitely use them in the future. So instead of throwing things away, you could think of a way to reuse them. If you don't have an answer already, don't worry. You could just make them clean and put them in the warehouse. The better you are at this, the less money you will spend for buying new things. Coming tip number 3, cook at home. Learning how to cook will save you a load of money and a better health overall. There are recipes on internet and YouTube for any food ingredients and any chunk of time you have. All you have to do is practicing until you can cook a fine meal for your own. Then you can prepare meals instead of eating out. Buying yourself a rice cooker, like any Chinese and Asians do, because you can cook at least 10 dishes with it, from rice, porridge, multi-grain rice, pasta, tomato stew, soups, curry, to simmered dishes, omelets, dumplings, French toasts, sweet soup, and cakes. Now move on to tip number 4. Know where the good deals are. Chinese often looks for seasonal shopping. They buy fruits and vegetables in season when they're cheaper and fresher. Following discounts events of your local supermarket, you don't want to miss any opportunity to grasp sale off food and staples. This also applies to online shopping. Sometimes you will be able to buy things you need with discounts. But be clear in mind which stuff is necessity and which one is luxury. One extra thing to note that Chinese are good at finding cheap suppliers around the area they live, from supermarket, butcher, to hairdresser and tailor. Making a list of these nearby suppliers and follow their discounts event will save you more money than you thought. The next tip, number 5, is learning how to preserve food. After buying food with cheap price, you need to preserve them properly. This requires some knowledge about food. Most of food we eat can be stored in fridge, so you need to learn how to maximize fridge space like this sample instruction. Putting them in an organized way will help you track the expiration date of the food you have left. Some food doesn't require fridge to preserve. You can put fermented food like pickles in jars and dry food in boxes at room temperature. Learn how to pickling, drying, and salting to extend food life. Other than that, if you have leftovers food, be creative to make new dishes. A free meal is waiting. This is good for your wallet and the earth too. Tip number 6, fixing instead of buying. Western people rarely fix things. Instead, they will buy a whole new one because there is not much difference in price of the two options. Plus, the labor cost is high. On the other hand, Chinese people will try to fix things before buying new one. They have guanxi, that means connections or relationship with low-cost handyman. From shoes, locksmith, clothes to TV sets, dishwasher, building stuff, etc. There are always a guy they can call to fix things in a really convenient and cheap way. Not only Chinese, Asians pals usually have a call list when it comes to fixing, and they will not hesitate giving you the contacts if you ask for them nicely. The quality of these services are quite reliable because guanxi is built upon personal trust of both the recommender and the handyman. No one will recommend you a bad handyman. That could hurt his or her own fame. On the other side, the handyman will try his best to please the people he is introduced to as his guanxi business network continues to grow. Number 7, avoid credit card and debt if they don't save you money. Old Chinese saving mindset seems to be opposite of American consumerism. Consumerism gives everyone a magic tool to get stuff now, pay later. That is the almighty credit card, but comes with a cost that sooner or later you have to repay the stuff, plus interests. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. Remember about Einstein's wise words. That means if you use credit card to buy a thing, you have the eighth wonder work against you. However, there are few people who are bargain hunters, reading credit cards as the palm of their hands so they could make use of it to benefit themselves. If you are not a person who can follow spending discipline strictly, this way of saving will bring harm more than good. Tip number 8. Practice mindful energy use. One of the necessity expenses that we normally cannot avoid is energy bills, like electric, water, gas bill. Children living in East or West are both taught how to turn off light, water tap, and other appliances when not in use. But the Chinese go a little further. They teach their kids to observe the surrounding environment and make use of them. That is part of applying ancient wisdoms like feng shui to reduce the energy they consume daily. For example, picking a house with natural sunlight will make your clothes dry faster, save some cash from electric cost. A house with proper bedroom size will reduce the gas cost in the winter, and a good house without shachi will both reduce energy cost as well as people's stress. You can learn how to identify shachi house in my video and stay away from them. Last tip number 9, keep yourself healthy. If you live in America, you know how expensive the healthcare system is. A medical consultation with a general practitioner costs $190. A stay in hospital costs tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. It can be a big problem for average person to handle these costs, but is it worth it? Is there any alternative to this? The answer is maybe, and you can find it in this picture. This quote is from Charlie Chaplin, a British. But Chinese who have knowledge in traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, would agree with what Mr. Chaplin said. Most of sickness could be cured with these free things if we know how to use them properly. So for people who don't want to spend an asset in medical bill, try to learn some TCM principle and treatment. You can try minor ailments before seeking more expensive treatments. And maintaining your own health is even more important than the curing process. Please note that this is not a medical advice. There are some people who must see the doctor due to tough illness. For now, just take my content for informational and educational purposes only. Thank you for watching. Hope that these tips will help you save some cash in this terrible economy. I would love to hear what tips you will apply into your life to save money. For now, have a good day and see you in next video.